without further ado, I want to introduce our speaker. He's a technologist, an entrepreneur, and an educator. Let's hear for Alex Specification.
Thank you, Rob. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Alex, and my presentation is about building an app from idea to release. And the purpose of the presentation is to help entrepreneurs to build better apps faster. My background is in development. I've co-founded Flexsys 9 years ago, and then Team Hunt was launched in August 2015, quite a recent thing. These are our customers, and I'll be talking about what we have learned, how to get from the idea to the app. By the way, how many of you have great ideas that could be turned into amazing apps? Please raise your hands. Okay, thank you. So that's a great audience. I hope you learned something. I will not be diving deep in technical details. I will not be talking about Titanium versus PhoneGap, but I'll walk through the process overall from idea to release. So in the ideal world, it would work like this. You would get with zero money, zero time, and with the ideal quality. Just when you think about it, you have it somewhere on your device in the world. And it already makes money for you. Now, this is not the ideal world. Unfortunately, someday we'll get there thanks to deep learning, Google, and other stuff. But there are some compromises available right now. iBuild app is an option. So for a tiny payment a month, you'll get a fair app that could represent your small business. It could be a catalog of your products or services. And you can basically assemble it yourself. But it would cover probably 5% of the market. Another option is these guys. 10Rocket, they've launched recently from Atlanta. As far as I know, they promised that they'll build your minimum viable product. I'll talk about that later. Basically, this is the product which you must build to get the initial traction with the market, with your consumers. They'll do it for $10,000 in 10 business days. That means 2 weeks, if we speak about calendar. And they also want 1 week to play around with your idea and talk to their pool of developers, vetted developers, to see if someone will pick up and want to build your idea. So this is a great choice if you want to build a minimum viable product, MVP. And another option is to outsource your development. So in terms of money, it would go maybe from $5,000 to $50,000, several weeks to several months. And the quality could be very different depending on how lucky you are with the developers, with the contractors, designers, and testers. So quality is poor to great. And once again, we'll try to get as closely as possible to the ideal world, to those parts of the equation. These are the questions that I'll want to answer during the presentation. How to make sure that you get what you wanted them to build, how to manage your budget and not to stuck with a lousy, unreleasable thing. What part of the work you can actually do yourself with little or no design or development skills. Where and how to get the right developers, how to communicate with them during various stages of your project. So these are the normal stages of a business in technology as we know it today. Vision forming is the very important stage, and it got covered by many brilliant people like Steve Blank or Eric Ries with their lean startup and customer discovery thing. So we'll not cover it today. Neither will cover promotion, the getting your product to market. I know there are lots of professionals in marketing in the audience. So I'm not a professional in marketing. I will not be talking about promotion. So I'll be taking off the idea from this stage when you have already verified it with the market, with your potential audience somehow. And you now get to build wireframes as our first stage, then functional specification, graphic design, implementation, and testing. 5 stages in total that we'll go through. The wireframes define features and interaction flow of your product. It might look like this initially. This is the very first draft of wireframes that I've created for Team Hunt. A user would have to type something in, press a button, get a search engine result page, and then browse some details about companies there. It can look like this. This thing is built with Balsamiq, a tool that I'll feature later. Basically, wireframes is how your app will look like and how your user will be interacting with your app, but there's no graphic design in it. It's just placeholders, some texts, some buttons that give a basic idea of what the interaction will look like and what features will be there. For example, in this case, there'll be a logo on the splash screen, a Google sign-up process, and a list of apps that a new user of an iPhone will want to pull from his previous Android device to install on the new iPhone. And there is a small arrow that gets you to the Apple App Store occasionally. This is a more complicated case of wireframes, but the idea is the same. From this starting screen, if I click here, I get to this screen, etc., through the process of the product or user life cycle on your product. These are the tools that allow you to build wireframes yourself without hiring a professional. You have to have some sense of product to build wireframes yourself. Balsamiq is the thing that I've mentioned before. It's owned by Adobe now. It was acquired. And it allows you to draw the wireframes as if you were drawing by your hand on a sheet of paper. So, by the way, drawing it by hand is a very good option. You should start with that one. Another option is proto.io. They specifically focus on mobile prototypes, mobile devices. And the great thing about proto.io is that it allows you to build interactive prototypes. That means you draw something, you create a mock-up in web in your browser, and you get it almost instantly on your mobile device, on your smartphone. So you can click through, you can swipe through your prototype as if it was a live app. Before investing thousands of dollars in getting it real, in coding it, you can already get a feeling of it, and you can show it to your friends, to your potential users, and to collect their feedback. And it's very easy to update, to fine-tune your prototype when you have it in this environment. So I want to show a small demo of the app that I was thinking about some time before. It was built with proto.io to showcase proto.io. What can it do for you? So it's an idea about Bluetooth low energy beacons that are spread around huge supermarkets like Costco or grocery stores. And when a user comes in a proximity of a beacon, he or she discovers a secret zone and can collect virtual resources to trade them later for real goods that are much more expensive than they normally buy. So I'm in that secret zone, and I can choose one of these 16 circles to get the resource. So I click here, I am getting a star. I can go with a star, or if I'm unhappy, I can choose another circle, not the star, but maybe this one, an apple. I'm happy with an apple. These are the resources that I've collected so far with this app. And I can browse the wishes, what I can trade my resources for. It might be the iPhone, but I don't have the resources for the iPhone. Then it might be the grill, and I can wish for the grill, and that's it. So this is a prototype that can be live on your smartphone in a matter of hours. You can build it yourself with no development skills and very little design skills required. So this is a very powerful thing. You should take a look at that for sure. And regarding the things that you want to keep in mind when doing or when contracting the design of wireframes out, is this: UX, user experience designer, needs to understand values that your app brings to its users and can explain it back to you. UX designer and you have agreed on to iterate 3 to 5 times on the wireframes. And there you are using, or your contractor is using, a collaboration tool that allows commenting inside the wireframes and creating interactive wireframes to showcase on target device. This is a very big difference, to have the product almost ready on the target device. It's very different from clicking through a mobile app in browser. Now, the functional specification defines architecture and functionality of an app, and it might look like this. So basically, these are my wireframes, and I draw these arrows to explain to my future developers that if I click here, I get here. If I tap here, I get this animation, or I navigate to this another screen. So this picture, I got it from HatTip, a startup in Mountain View in Palo Alto that enables service workers to get great jobs and build their reputations. They've just launched a few months ago and are growing really fast. The checklist, what you have to keep in mind when building functional specification is make sure that it describes your product vision and overview. It describes the interaction flow, animations, marginal use cases. For example, what happens, what your app displays on the screen when there is no search results, or when nobody has yet commented on your post, or something like that. And you will want to describe requirements for backend availability. Like, I expect that there'll be 100,000 users, daily active users of my app within the first 6 months, so that the engineers would take that into account and build that scalability into the product. Graphic design, the next stage, defines look and feel of your future app. How beautiful does it look? So on this stage, you get from wireframes to something more nice, like this. So this is the wireframes. This is the graphic design for that specific app. And these are the tools that are very popular currently to graphic design. Sketch is the recent competitor of Photoshop. And it's very popular in Silicon Valley. It's very geared toward UI design. And it represents your design, not just a set of pixels, but as a set of boards with basically screens of your app as the interaction flow goes. And a designer will be working not with pixels on a screen, but with objects like these rectangles or images, circles, and vector graphics with its parameters, positions, sizes, and colors. So Photoshop kind of gets there in the recent versions, but it has 100 times more stuff for basically photo processing. And for UI design, you do not need Photoshop. So Sketch is very popular recently, as well as this app or service, InVision. Basically what they do, they take your graphic design screen by screen, and they allow you to add interactivity to your graphic design. So you would load your graphic designs in this InVision service and say that, hey, this area would be a button. If a user taps this button, he or she gets to this screen, the other screen. You can also define interactions like swipes and many other things. Let me showcase another example of what can be built with InVision. So this is that app, HatTip, that I've mentioned before. We've helped transition this app to Android. And we've came up with this set of graphic designs, which is slightly different for Android. And thanks to InVision, it's made interactive. So I can actually click on specific areas. If I click on the wrong one, I see blue highlighting buttons, highlighted buttons to click on them. So I can actually click through the prototype with graphic design in it as if it was a real app. And it is also really, really helpful, because with this you can get a feeling of your future app before you actually invest in its coding. And these two apps tied together, they are integrated and synchronized. If you make a change in Sketch, you can get an instant update of your interactive prototype. Some DIY resources that you may want to use if you want to do graphic design yourself, or you want to approach graphic design. The Noun project is a set of icons that are very, very cheap, pre-built for you by thousands of graphic designers around the world. And they have an icon for almost every word in English language. So if you say, I want an icon for a smartphone, or for car, or for prototype, they'll get a whole bunch of icons related to that term. And you can guess what word did I use to get these.
Coffee.
You're right. So these icons are very different, but it's still about coffee. Logaster allows you to design a logo for your future app or for your future company for just $30. It's interactive. You basically do it yourself, and they walk you through a process where they offer you some options that you choose from. So in 5 very simple steps, you get to a decently looking logo. And it's 10 times less than a designer would charge you. So that makes sense for a bootstrapping entrepreneur. Growth Supply is a list of thousands of resources that provide free or very inexpensive tools or assets like stock photos to build your website. If you have a WordPress website, a landing page, you may go there to find pictures to use in background for your future business, for your landing page. This is really helpful. Now, if you want to outsource this to professionals, I would recommend this service, 99 Design, to do it. It's different from hiring a professional, just one professional, because when you post a job on 99 Designs, you'll get dozens of designers competing for your gig. And you will pay $300 for your logo or your app design, and you'll be able to choose the best option that you like among dozens of them. It's like you pay $300 and they promise to get you about 30 designers submitting their projects to you. And they do it with everything, with books, app icons, all other stuff. And I've also listed some other helpful links if you will want to dive deeper in do-it-yourself stuff. The checklist for graphic design. To get a good graphic design, if you hire a professional, first of all, you must make sure that you like his style or her style, because normally you'll get something similar to what they have designed before. Make sure also that the designer understands your business and can explain it back to you. Provide visual references to the designer. That means you will want to send to the designer a set of links to websites or mobile apps that you like and that you think would be good if your app inhale as a reference. This is really helpful for a designer. So he or she will combine your vision, market, and these references and come up with a pattern, a set of, well, with the look and feel relevant to your case. So also agree to iterate at least 5 times, changing colors, displacing elements there. Use a collaboration tool that allows commenting and getting your interactive design on your device, which can be done in Vision. Now the next stage of getting to a real app is implementation, which is coding as it was designed by wireframes, functional specification, and graphic design. If you are here and you have the previous 3 stages in place, you are sure that you will hit your goal with the app, with this design. Well, it's the odds of success are much higher if you have done that homework before you dive into coding. This is really important. There is the DIY part, or learn it yourself. You can go through some courses to learn JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And I have actually embedded some links in the deck. I will be able to give you the deck later. You can use Udemy or Coursera or iTunes University to learn to code in Objective-C or Swift or Java for Android. And if you are not a developer, I actually do not recommend you diving into coding, because normally a professional, a guy who's been in coding for the last 15 years would be able to do the thing that you want to do in a week or 2 weeks, while you will take 8 months to learn and to build it. It doesn't worth money. It's not a good balance. Where you can get the right developers. So the classic resource to get freelancers is Elance, Odesk, which are now Upwork. They've merged together recently. And they offer a huge number of professionals in various areas and various skill sets. Well, yeah. The TopTal has been up and running since 2010, and they are different from Upwork because they offer vetted professionals, developers of a high level, which speak good, that speak English well, and that know how to deal with many things around development and know all the frameworks needed to build an enterprise scale app. So on Upwork, the price range would go from maybe $10 per hour to $150 probably for freelancers. For developers on TopTal, the price, as far as I remember, is about $95 per hour. And the good thing about TopTal is if you've been matched to a developer, you've been working with the guy or girl for 2 weeks and you don't like your experience, they will not charge you for these 2 weeks. And you'll get a replacement for free. So this gives you a feeling, a sense of being safe. Now, Team Hunt is my product. I'm basically competing with these guys. It's different because on Team Hunt, there are no individual freelancers, only teams. And we have a matching algorithm that allows you to find a team that has worked on similar projects before. So you go there, you select features, platforms, technologies of your future mobile app, and you get a list of the teams instantly that are good matches for you. And you can talk to them, you can view their profiles. So let me show some screenshots from websites. This is Upwork, and you have web developers, mobile developers, designers, writers, virtual assistants, accountants, all kinds of outsourcing freelancers, professionals. This is TopTal. They have an exclusive network that includes only top 3% of developers. I know these guys, the guys behind TopTal, so I highly recommend them as a service, as a business. And this is an example of team's profile on Team Hunt. So you get deeper personal connection with the team, and as you scroll down, you see their projects, references, and many other things important to get the initial trust toward the team. Many people ask how to deal with estimates. There is a problem with the estimates because when you submit a bid somewhere, you search Google and find several teams, and you ask them, how much will my product cost to have it built? You'll get probably estimates from $4,000 to $40,000. And it's difficult to understand if you should go with a low bowler or you should act in some other way. So I've been thinking, and I've created this simple algorithm to deal with the estimates. I suggest that you collect the estimates from 5 teams at least. Then select 3 estimates that are the most reasonable to you. So if you get 3, 15, 17, 20, and 50, probably those in the middle are more reasonable. So try to go and talk to those 3 teams and ask them about their previous experience and check out their reputation. Probably they'll give you some references, some previous clients they've worked for. Do your research, do your background check. When you will be doing this, you'll get also a feeling whether the team is responsive enough. If they take 3 days to reply to your simple question, probably they're not a good fit for you. Especially if we're talking about overseas teams, which are five times less expensive, but there is a risk that you cannot drive up to their office and talk to the person. So having a responsive focal person is crucial. Then when you have that estimate in place and you're signing a contract with the selected team, allow some time for fixes after your planned delivery date. And it will work probably like this in 50 or 70% of cases. You will get the fixed price, fixed cost for your development, but probably something will not be built within that time frame. Some tiny little things will slide over to the next week or next month, depending on the scale of your project. So do not plan to start your marketing campaign right after your delivery date. Allow some gap there. And this would get you like 95% success rate with your business, I mean. These are some tools to keep your implementation process on track. If you go with a team, they'll probably suggest you one of these tools. Rike is a project management software together with Asana. Trello is also a task management service. Bitbucket is a source code repository with a great issue tracking system where you will be able to file issues, bugs that you encounter as they build it. And Jira is also a great bug tracker. Toggle is a time tracker for freelancers or teams that are billing you by hour. Google Drive and Google Hangouts are communication tools where you would want to host documents and do video conference calls with your team. And Slack finally is the group chat, very popular recently. Now the checklist for the implementation is the largest one. Make sure that the engineers that you're hiring have worked on similar projects. Make sure that their estimates are reasonable. Get a feeling of the responsiveness of the focal person, of the product manager or project manager that will be working with you. Create a contract agreement that protects your IP, defines milestones with deliverables. Agree upfront on communication tools and process the regular meetings. You will maybe want to do daily meetings or you will want to do weekly reviews of the progress. Write down all the decisions that you make together with the team. And I would say a great team would be doing this themselves. They will be putting down all the decisions you make with them as you go and sending you updates in an email or in a Google document. Be hands-on. Always have a feeling of the progress that you do with your team. And trust your team in the area where you expect that they are professionals, like choosing backend technology. Should you go with Node.js or Ruby on Rails for your backend? Testing is making sure that your product delivers value and it has no bugs. So these are the tools that you can use to deliver your mobile app to the beta users. Beta by Crashlytics is a free tool that allows you to select several people, probably your friends or early adopters, and target them, send them your build with an email. TestFlight is doing basically the same thing, but it was acquired by Apple like 18 months ago. So now they do not do Android, only iOS. So Beta by Crashlytics is a good choice. And user testing is a different thing. It allows you to get videos of real people using your app. you can get a link to a person which is crowdsourced from their pool, a person with a relevant profile. And you'll get, well, basically their comments as they go through your app. And this is very, very insightful because these people would, normal people would stumble upon things that you didn't expect they would stumble upon in your app. Because when your app is viewed from outside, it looks very different from your view of your app. And the checklist, use issue tracker to track bugs. If you find something, or if your users find something with beta by Crashlytics, do final acceptance testing yourself to kill bugs. Do load testing if necessary. Like if you expect 100,000 daily active users by the end of the quarter, ask your team to simulate, to emulate the load somehow to test that the server is capable enough for that load. And watch early users use your product. That's it. Now I wanted to show some steps of that process that I did with the team hunt as I went through the process. So I spent approximately a month designing this interactive prototype with proto.io. It's a website. So proto.io actually allows you to design wireframes for websites. It's not a perfect solution though. Then the graphic design looked like this, quite similar but not identical, which is good. So the designer put things in another way here. And it took about a week to get here. Then implementation is very similar to the graphic design. It took 10 days to get here from the graphic design. And the current build looks like this. So it took about 3 months to get from here to here. And it looks kind of different as well. That's it. So if we consider this scale from 1 to 10, 1 is considering ideas, and 10 can't wait to start building something. Can you imagine where would you be on this scale?
11.
So people with a score above 5, sorry, could you raise your hand, please? Great. Okay, so the next slide is about MVP, which probably will be helpful to you. So MVP is a minimum viable product that has only core features in it. The purpose of an MVP is to test your idea and to get early adopters. An MVP usually has the highest return on investment versus risk. So you get the very concrete idea of the value that you want to bring to your users with your business, with your product. And you try to eliminate all features that are secondary. And you pack it in a simple product that you can build with very little resources within a very short time frame. So with Team Hunt, we are introducing this service, getting from an idea to an MVP in 1 day and 1 week. On the first day, you will meet our product manager to discuss your future product, research competition, prioritize features, and build the interactive prototype together. So the result of this first day basically will be an interactive prototype that you can take home, you can show to your friends, and you'll be able to make improvements to it using proto.io. So this is the critical stage for the success of your venture. Because if you start without having a proven set of wireframes, which are interactive as well, the probability of success is lower. And in 1 week, after you have finished with your homework, we deliver your MVP. So the cost of this service is $10,000. But for the first five selected MVPs, we'll be able to do it for $5,000. And if you are interested, I encourage you to send a short description of your idea to mvp@teamhunt.co. And we also offer a free 30-minute review and advice session for those who are not that close to starting to build something. And if you want that I send you the deck, please email me at alex@teamhunt.co. Now we have, we're very good with the time. And we'll need the microphone for the questions.
So for Upwork, when you're outsourcing and you're hiring people, how legitimate are the reviews that you have from people? As far as, can those be manipulated and, see what I mean?
So the process that they have is very good, but it's not ideal. If you hire a person that has 5 stars, it doesn't guarantee you from an imperfect experience. So I've been asking Elance people how to deal with that. And their recommendation is basically splitting your project into several stages. And the first tiny stage, outsource it to 3 contractors and test which one works the best for you and go with that one. So this is a reasonable approach.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Alex. Great presentation. So quick question. On this offer that you offered for the 5K, is that your personal team that makes that would make the prototype, or do you then outsource it with the people that you're
We start with
having?
the personal team, or with my team, and we'll occasionally include other teams. And we definitely will not be able to build anything for that amount. We are not building Apple Watch apps, for example.
So you're making a prototype, not an MVP, or it is an MVP?
It is an MVP that can be sent to Apple App Store.
Okay, and so then your own team, Team Hunt, also builds apps, basically. It's not just the marketplace.
So it's not the Team Hunt team, it's the combined team with Flexes.
Okay, thank you.
Which is the services company.
Thanks.
Sure.
Can you discuss the pros and cons? Should I start with Android or iPhone, iOS?
Sure. So it depends. If you target Silicon Valley, probably iPhone is a good starting platform. So iPhones in the world are currently less popular than Android phones. If you target Asia or Europe, probably you have to go with Android first. And Android is a platform that allows you to make quicker iterations with your features, or if you find a bug in your app, you'll be able to submit the update much faster. Now, the pro for iPhone is that people using iPhone normally spend 2 to 3 times more money on apps. So research the market in your specific area and specific geography, which is more popular, and go with that platform.
Sort of a question on the team quality thing. When teams have experience in a certain area, how do you assure that you get the developers that had that experience working on your project?
Well, teams are very interested in getting you that kind of developers, because if they get you the wrong developer, they can damage their reputation, they can run into risks of not fitting in the timeline and the budget. And if they get you the right developers, basically they can make higher profits and less risks. So there is that market incentive to get you the right people.
Earlier, you mentioned a bit about drawing up contracts that protect your IP and setting the right milestones.
Yeah.
Could you just go a little bit more into that and how you might go about doing that?
I guess there are drafts of contracts available on the internet that cover those topics. I think if you ping me on email, I'll be able to point you to the websites there.
Okay, and then in terms of setting the right milestones, I know it probably varies, depending on what you're building. But are there any just general like best practices or maybe things you've learned from like when things didn't go right, you thought you were setting the right milestones, but then like anything to be aware of?
I would recommend setting milestones based on your business features valuable for your business, so that at the end of each milestone you would get a set of features that you can either roll out to production or to start, maybe thinking more in depth internally with your product team.
Okay.
So business features are the measure.
The main, okay, the driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
The driver, yeah. Thank you.
Hi there. Yeah. My company looking for a developer who can help us to develop a mobile applet that can interface with the payment system, like Apple Pay or Google Wallet. Can you give me some suggestions where and what is the scope? And because the level of our interest in number 9, almost what we needed day before yesterday, right? We actually, for your information, we need to develop an applet that control electric car charging system, the fast charge. And people come to drive the car to the fast charge. We want them to interface to talk to our charger and pay for the electricity they pay at the pump. So not fixed rate, like $10. It's very dependent on how much they charge. So they have to interface with the electrical power they need and also pay by credit card. We interested to have the best people in town to do it for us. Can you give me some ideas how to process this?
Do you want to hire people locally here in the Valley, or you want to outsource it to someone?
We're open for everything, the best and the fast.
The payment systems are a standard thing, so many teams have worked with that. And if I were you, I would go to Team Hunt, and I have a checkbox. I have a checkbox for that kind of payments there among features.
Okay.
So I would recommend to do that.
I will check you first. All right. Okay. Well, thank you.
If you wanted to develop an app for both Android and iPhone at the same time, what would be the best approach to take? And how much would that cost?
Okay. There are hybrid technologies that allow you to build apps that are cross-platform. The most popular today are Ionic and React Native. The React Native is owned by Facebook now.
How do you spell that?
React Native. If you send me an email, I'll reply you with the spelling. There is also an emerging technology called Fuse Tools, which is blazingly fast, but it has some limitations in its functionality, but they are building up.
Thank you. If I need to choose a smaller team or bigger team, especially because the bigger team would be able to produce the result within a shorter couple of months. So which one I should choose? And because of this hybrid development, like I would like to do in both Android and the iPhone, how the expense would go in this case. For example, I just want to start with Android and later smoothly migrate to iPhone. Would it cost more? That's all.
So it depends. The answer to the first question, depends on the the scope of your project, basically. If it's a very short project that can be done by one person in a month, hiring a large team wouldn't give you benefits. But if it's a project that one developer would be doing for 5 years, definitely having 10 people on the team would be beneficial. The effect of getting many developers together is not linear. If you get 10 developers, you will probably get 4x to the speed of the team because of the communication overhead and other things. Now, regarding the platforms, if you want to target Android first and finalize the app for Android, I would not recommend using a cross-platform technology. And it seems like you are thinking about a complicated app. So use native Android technology to build the Android app, and then you'll be able to transition it to the native iOS app quite efficiently. Everything will be there, and the developers will just have to implement it for that platform. Does this answer your question?
Yes, it does. However, I know a couple of applications that can do this hybrid stuff, but I don't believe something that a hybrid can absolutely work in either. There must be changes. What are the problems that the hybrid tools cannot solve in both Apple and Android?
Well, if you go very deeply into location tracking and background, probably hybrid technology will not be a best fit for that. But overall, well, those hybrid technologies like Ionic or PhoneGap or Titanium or React Native, they are good if your app doesn't have complex animations, if it's not a game, for example. And if it can be responsive with the normal HTML, CSS animations.
How about accessing the map and location information?
So as far as I know, these frameworks have access to geo services. Just a moment. So, and they cannot display the native component of the map, but you can integrate some external map provider like Google Maps. That can be done. We can discuss that in more details later.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Just had one more, if you don't mind. As far as you probably already hit on this a little bit with breaking it down, getting more value by subbing out each step with contractors. How well does that transition over to the next hand that you're going to, like when you're passing over from design to coding and stuff like that?
So if you hire a team,
Sure.
that would be done for you seamlessly. They'll handle it within the team. Now, if you want to hire separate professionals, you'll be managing them basically by yourself, and you'll be first getting all the deliverables from the previous hand and giving it to the next hand. So there is an overhead, and you'll have to make sure that when the new process has started, it is on track for the first days or weeks. Does this answer your question?
Yeah. Do you, in your experience in doing this multiple times, what is your opinion on like the one-stop shop mobile development companies? I've researched a lot of them that are around here. Approximately, it's about $100 an hour. But I found a couple like in India that were approximately $25 an hour. And they do the whole thing start to finish with detailed specifications and all that. You see any value in going that route? Or is it,
Depending on your budget, basically. If you want to be very, very hands-on and you are low on budget and you are willing to invest your time in management of your development, you can go with separate professionals. Now, if you choose between a local team and an overseas team, well, you'll want to do your homework in terms of background check for the team. Talk to the clients here locally and see what was done by the team for these clients and if the clients are happy. And even if the hourly rate of a team is low, they can still be a great team. Like on Team Hunt, we have more than 100 teams, and the rates are from $15 to the medium rate would be 20 to 30, and they are great teams.
Okay.
They can handle the entire process from wireframes to testing and release.
Is there any kind of, thing you've ran across the way as far as having some simple contracts in place to protect your idea while you're doing all this?
Yeah, there is the website that gives the contracts for free, but I do not remember it right now.
Okay. Appreciate
Send me
it.
an email.
All right.
Me again.
Uh-huh.
So Apple has moved from Objective-C to Swift. How many of the development teams or the teams that you work with are fluent with Swift?
Have you started coding with Swift already?
I'm starting.
You have chosen Swift.
Yes.
Okay, that's a bold decision. So I don't have a percentage, but many of the teams are very curious. They want to test new things. And I would say 80% of teams have tested Swift and probably have built a project on Swift.
Just their first project.
I don't know, maybe several projects. But overall, my feeling is that Swift is too dynamic now. It changes too much from one revision to the other. And as you get a new revision, your previous source code will not be working, not be compiling. And it's a pain in the neck. I've used to code in Swift myself back in March, and I faced that situation several times. I didn't like it. So you can go with Swift for sure. It is a brilliant language. If you go with Swift, the probability of error for developers is lower because they have some internal mechanics to deal with that. And once again, on Team Hunt, there is a checkbox, Swift, to give you all the teams that are experienced with Swift.
Imagine if you're making a very simple app. When do you recommend us to do a C Corp? Do we even need to do it? Does it gonna help us for liabilities, tax stuff?
Well, C Corp would cost you probably $4,000 to $6,000 per year. Probably you'll want to get some traction first.
But does it help us in terms of the liability for future with the app? Or
I don't have an
even-
answer to this question.
Okay.
Well, it's out of the scope of the presentation, and well, I don't have an opinion. I wouldn't do a C Corp for sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
I had a simple question. What are the main benefits of building this MVP with you guys?
Oh, okay. So the competition for this MVP is mainly outsourcing it to a developer that you find on Upwork, or building it with 10 Rocket that I've mentioned before. And the main benefit of working with us is that you get to meet in person with an experienced product manager that will guide you through the steps from your idea to your prototype in proto.io, probably. And well, this will basically help you build a more solid business in the end. When you start with a solid prototype, you get to a more successful business in the end. So interacting with people in person is beneficial.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.